I'm a huge fan of making golf more affordable, and with new drivers today costing upwards of £500, there's a couple of drivers on the market that I wanted to test head to head. Introducing, and doesn't take much introduction, the Costco Kirkland Signature driver. This thing has kind of taken the golf world by storm, together with the irons, which Costco seem to be getting a little bit of a slap on the wrist with from TaylorMade. £199. Very, very cheap. There's not a lot of technology in there, but we do have a carbon crown, we do have a little bit of back weighting, and to be honest, I really enjoyed testing this. Also, new to the market, the 11 NH01 driver. Now, the difference with this is it's £50 more, so it's £249, but we have much more premium components in there. So we have the KBS TD Tour driven shaft in there, we have the Super Stroke grip on there. I thought it was Lambkin, but it's Super Stroke. And looking down at this, we still have the adjustable sleeve, a very similar adjustable sleeve to the Kirkland actually. If we do have a look, we can change the loft on there, but we can actually change face angle on the 11 driver as well. So you're starting to get a little bit more for your money there. Which one's going to perform best? We're testing them in here in the studio, and also out on the golf course where it counts. So we'll kick off with the Kirkland, I think. And the Kirkland does have this gorgeous carbon fibre head. Every time I get this out, I think, you know what, they did really well with this. I did a video with this putting an upcharged shaft in there. It was actually a Mizuno shaft because it's a Mizuno fitter as well, or fitted adapter. It performed a lot better. So this shaft that they do put in it, it kind of lets it down a little bit, but for £200, what would you want? What's the difference going to be here, Bobby, do you think?
Can you put a different shaft in the 11 one?
You could, but it's basically what I've been fit. Basically, that is kind of my specs from a PXG fitting. So you can go online and you can choose a couple of shafts.
What sleeve is it though? What other driver shafts could you put in?
I don't know. I don't know, but you can choose. So yeah, you do get an option, which is important. Stay there. Stay there. That's just down the left side. It's done all right actually. It's carried the trees. It's just in the rough. That was a toey strike. Whenever I've tested this Costco driver, I've actually tried to hit it just a little bit out the toe because I find it just drags the spin rate down a little bit and helps you get that distance. With the 11 driver, this looks really, really traditional. Look at that. It looks really, really nice. I think they've done a fantastic job making this look as good as it does. And it actually sounds fantastic as well. When I tested this, I couldn't really believe the price of it. Come on, let's have a similar swing. Feels more premium, you could say. Oh yeah, look at that. Look at that. Just stay there. Down the right hand side of the fairway that time. Let's get down there and let's see exactly the difference in distance. One's gone a little bit left, one's gone a little bit right. A perfect test for a driver that costs half the price, you could say, of some of the big boys. Half price with this shaft in. Ridiculous. So interestingly, when you do go on the 11 website to order the driver, you get a few different options as well. You can order your specs, you can order your loft, you can order a different shaft. You can also order it with hot melt in there. So if you know what your miss is, hot melt is basically a weighting inside the head to help slow down a proportion of the driver. Really interesting, it actually deadens the sound a little bit as well. It's something that a lot of tour trucks use, and I've never seen a company openly admit, oh, we'll just put some hot melt in there for you. Like, yeah, we'll do it, it's not a problem. It's legal, you can do it, it's not cheating. It just gives you a little bit more of a, what's the word I said earlier that I've forgotten again?
Moment of inertia.
No. Preciseness. That's not a word, is it? But you know what I mean. Just gives you a little bit more. Right, as you can see, the NH01 is in the right-hand rough, a little bit further up than the Costco driver, which is here in the left-hand rough. Let's go on the next tee and let's see. I hate the next hole, by the way. So if we can hit the fairway with both of these, this would be interesting, and see which one can get a little bit further. So I despise this golf hole, especially into the wind like it is today. We have a big old lake on the left-hand side, trees on the right-hand side, and we have two drivers, which if you bought both of them, you still have change from the latest Ping, TaylorMade, Callaway or PXG. That's quite ridiculous when you think about it. Not that you would want two drivers, but putting these head to head, I'm really enjoying it and really enjoying the fact of the pursuit to try and find a more budget golf club that can help you with your game. So let's go 11 driver first this time. Can we keep it down? Can we keep the spin rate down into the wind? That's going to be one of the difficult options, But looking down at this, it reminds me of the old Bridgestone drivers. Do you remember those, Bobby?
No.
Before your time, that?
Might have been
before your time. Really nice looking head. Let's get this trying to keep down a little bit. Oh yeah. Look at that, I'm just peeling it off the hazard, Bobby, there. That's lovely. Stay there. Oh, he's took a kick. He's took a bad kick, we'll go with. But really enjoyable ball flight there. I've struck that a little bit out the heel, but still managed to get the ball flight down and get a pretty long drive out there. Let's now go Costco, and that's a very awkward way of handing someone a club, Bobby, that. Let's go Costco. Bobby lobs it at you. Right. And I think this will be an interesting one, because I think potentially the Costco might be more forgiving, but I think the 11 driver is potentially longer and give you the option to potentially bring the spin rate down and hit bombs. I actually saw one of the guys who was behind the 11 driver and helped put it together. He played in Pro-Am in Saudi Arabia and hit like 400 yards almost. So it is there, and you can get the distance if you've got the skill and the ability, of which I think I lack both of. But Costco. And you can see that's an identical start line and fading back a little bit higher. Do you want to tell them, Bobby, where both those have gone? They're both in the hazard. Let's see which one's furthest in the hazard. This is true testing. Honestly, I just don't like this hole. I'm very pleased with the golf swings I put on them. I don't know why I would ever aim at the hazard and try and fade it off it when the wind's going that way. Stupid is as stupid does, Lieutenant Dan. Right, not my best stuff. I honestly and openly say I just don't like this hole. We've got one there next to the ducks, and we've got one here. So I think, again, the 11 driver actually was a little bit lower. It pitched on the, to be honest, the 11 driver was unlucky. It pitched on the slope and got taken in, whereas the other one, the Costco, was a little bit higher, and that's pitched in there. It actually held its line nicely. If you were trying to play a straight shot, you'd probably be all right. The good news is, I mean, I don't think you'd ever play that, but we've found them at least. Guys, let's finish this off. Well, we'll look at the numbers inside, and we'll finish this off on the final hole. So far, the 11 driver is looking well worth that extra $49.99, I think, personally.
Guys, just like in the previous review of that 11 driver, if you do want a discount, then make sure you use the code JR10. And for the numbers, as you can see, I've tested this driver quite a lot and tested the Costco driver against lots of other drivers this year. And I've been really, really impressed with, first of all, the ball speeds that we can get with them, but also with the forgiveness on some mishits. So I've really, really enjoyed the sound and the feel of the 11, and I feel like, especially if you do just stick an upcharge shaft in the Costco, that can make a huge difference. But for this test, we didn't use the upcharge shaft. We used the standard riptide shaft that does come in the Costco driver, and of course the KBS shaft in the 11. As you can see, the numbers are very, very similar. The 11 driver just spinning a little bit lower, carrying a tiny bit further, and running out a little bit more as well, with a 1 mile an hour ball speed improvement. Let's get back on the golf course and finish this where it counts, on the grass.
Now, the other really interesting thing with these drivers comes down to availability. A lot of people can't get hold of the Costco Kirkland driver. Maybe they didn't make enough of them. Maybe you don't have a Costco membership. Maybe they're just all sold out. So there's that to think about. The 11 driver, unfortunately, you can't try. You can't try any of these clubs. I often think how well websites may do if they had, I don't know, a couple of demo clubs they could send out, send back. But then, I don't know how many people would maybe take privilege with that, I don't know. We'll go 11 driver first here and just try and get it running over that corner. Ideally here, a little bit of a draw, start in the middle of the fairway, turning over around the bunker would be nice. Head shape's delightful on the 11, it really is. Let's play a nice low one. Like that, again, it's just stayed nice and straight. It's not turning as much as I would have wanted to, but you can see it bounding down, well, pretty much the centre line there. If I were to show you where I've struck that from, this is where the 11 driver, I think, is going to do really well for a lot of golfers. You can see there, it was very, very toey. Let's now go Kirkland and see if we can get it past it. That's the big thing with the Kirkland, I think. Can we get some distance with this standard shaft in it? Ooh, that might be in the bush. Sit. Oh, I've seen some birds moving. Right, let's go and see where they've finished. Certainly, I feel like the upgraded shaft in the 11 helps. I think having those premium components does help that driver massively, and I think it's well worth the extra 50 quid, as I've said. Let's go and see the difference, but for me, there's one winner with this. Unfortunately, you can't get it next to the barbecue. The barbecue was good at Costco though, really good. I'm enjoying that. Pit Boss. Not sponsored.
Sponsor.
Not sponsor me if you want. Pit Boss, yeah, definitely. So guys, you can see there the 11 driver bang on the centre line. Sorry for the mic not being in, we thought we'd done, but Bobby's fitted driver's only gone 5 yards further past as well. So bear that in mind when you're spending your money.
I didn't hit it as well.
What do you reckon, Chris?
I'm a bit surprised Bobby hasn't lost one, to be honest.
Yeah, and the Costco driver's in there, so